So, Salem Witch Trials.
Salem Witch Trials.
I've always found it so interesting.
Yeah.
So intriguing.
And I know everyone's heard of it, but we're going to go into the details of it a little more, just because it's such a wild...
crazy fucking story. Like, literally crazy.
Sad.
Okay, ready? Set.
Let's go.
Let's go. Hello, I'm Ash.
And I'm Lynn.
And this is Only If You Can Keep Up. Okay, so, Salem Witch Trials. I was there. No, I'm kidding.
In my past life.
No.
No, but really, if we
Okay.
were alive then, we would be one of
Seriously,
the first
legit,
ones, I'm
just
sure.
think about I wake up one morning, big stretch, it's 1692, it's February, right? That's the year, or the month,
a little
start the
bit
year.
chilly.
You know, I go outside to string my laundry out there, my family's laundry, and some little bitch walks by and is like, "You're a witch.
Right?
You made me feel away." And now I'm like...
She made me sick or something.
Now I'm on trial.
Right?
Because some little girl decided that I was on trial.
Just because a bunch of little girls are throwing fits and saying that these women did these things. Like, could you imagine?
No, I don't want to imagine. And then that was a door. It's fine. And then just doing anything, breathing, pretty much. You got, my neighbor could call me a witch, or I could call her a witch just because she looked my way in a wrong tone. But anyway, let's get into the beginning of everything. Okay, once upon a time. No, this is not a happy
February,
story.
1692.
Religion. Okay, it always comes back to religion with pretty much everything, especially if you talk about witchcraft and all of that. It's always stems from these doors be popping tonight.
I swear, no one leaves the room until
it has been dead silent until we hit record, and now everyone says partay. I swear.
My gosh. But yeah, way back then, of course, in the 1600s especially, church and politics were even more tied together. So you've got your Puritans, your English Protestants, these extremely religious people who have these really strong beliefs, and they see anything that is out of the ordinary to them, and they immediately think you're working with the devil.
And the shitty thing is these people had, like, what do you call it? Like, clout? No, they had... they were big in the community. They were people looked to them. They had a voice, and they used it wrong, essentially. Like, so, yeah.
Yep. And it's scary because I hate to think that could ever go back to that way again. I don't know.
I would hope not, but then I could also see something, not exactly this, but something similar happening along the religion way. Yeah. Because religion rules our country. Yeah. 100%. I don't care who you are. It rules our country. And it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But now we have this little group of, like, young kids that are like, fuck you.
And a lot of people even our age are starting to come out of it and realize, like, open up their minds a little more and realize, like, we don't have to follow a specific path, or so the specific, like, organized religion part of it, like, so many people are believing now we can believe in God and be good people and not have to follow an organized religion. So back then, though, if you didn't follow their religious rules,
if you didn't follow that Bible.
Yeah.
And apparently within the Bible somewhere, I don't know where, because I've never read the Bible, and I'm pretty sure it's not true. The Bible taught us that the devil would allow these witches the power to harm other people as long as they served him.
Right. They felt that they were very much, that they were either possessed by the devil, or they were working for him, or working with him.
How they got it, where that came from, I have no fucking clue. Like, because I'm pretty sure it does not say that in the Bible. Once again, I do not know. I've never read it. But, like...
it was pretty much just anyone speaking out or doing anything out of the ordinary.
And it's like, I'm sick of that attitude, so we're going to burn people at stakes like they did in Europe. Or we're going to
follow my rules and do exactly as we expect. Because one lady was just like... she had her was up too late and out too late and outside. Things like that. Like, or
one
would
lady,
have people over too late.
She was outside. She stepped outside during a full moon. Gosh. And a neighbor saw her and accused her of being a witch, and then she was imprisoned.
Wow.
Yes. I'm like, insane fucking shit. The witch hunt was ripping through Europe from the 1300s to the 1600s. That is where they were burned.
Yeah.
They weren't burned here.
There was no burning the stake.
That's a big misconception, I think. We were never burned here. I'm not saying never ever happened here, but the Salem Witch Trials was all hanging and then one stoning, but we'll get into that later.
But all the burning of the stake, that happened in Europe back
tens
back
of
before.
Thousands of people.
Yeah.
Tens of thousands of people were murdered. Mostly women, some men, because warlocks are a thing too, were executed in Europe.
Yeah.
Europe. This is not the Salem. This is in Europe.
And I don't know the details, but I assume a lot of those Puritans came over, English Protestants came over from here with their beliefs and pushed it on.
Right, and then the Salem Witch Trials happened in the later 1600s, which all these people had heard the stories of the European witch hunts. You know what I mean? So, like, we already have that fear, kind of, and it's like, it's like somebody read a story, and they're like, you know what?
Yeah.
It's just like that. This is what this is. Let's do the same thing.
They get a story, they get an idea, and then one little issue just steamrolls, and it turns into this full-on hysterics. Like,
okay. How it began. How the Salem Witch Trials began. It was in 1692, February. 3 young girls, Betty, she was 9
years old.
Abigail, 11. They were sisters.
Little girls.
And another girl named Anne, she was 12. They began having fits. Air bunnies are in the air.
Acting
they were having
out
fits.
Of the ordinary.
They were screaming, throwing things. They spoke weird sounds. They contorted themselves into weird positions. One day, out of nowhere. That just started happening.
Yeah.
Okay. The local doctor, the father of the 2 girls, the sisters, took the girls to a local doctor, and they said it's supernatural.
Yeah. And he's where it started. That doctor's the one that said this is supernatural.
This is not anything we've ever heard of before. Mm-hmm. Okay. The girls blamed 3 women for causing this problem, for cursing them, essentially. Tituba was the first one. She was a Caribbean woman who was enslaved by Betty and Abigail's family.
Yeah.
She actually cared for them. She was like their nanny for a while. Like, she would teach them to cook and teach them to do all of these things, but they blamed her for cursing them, essentially. Sarah Good. She was a homeless beggar. Just a homeless woman that they girls had probably seen out on the street. Yeah. Your AC just kicked off and it got real quiet. Did you feel that? Okay. And then Sarah Osborne. She was an elderly, poor woman. They blamed all 3 girls. They were tried before the local judges and interrogated for several days. I'm pretty sure I read they were tortured. I know that Sarah Good, her 4-year-old daughter, was also arrested, tortured, and interrogated.
I read that the youngest one, Dorothy Good,
she was 4. Her name was Dorothy. Yes, terrible. It was Sarah's daughter. They also did her and asked, like, "Is your mommy?
They kept her in
does your mommy do this?" Like, seriously, like, she's fucking 4, and they actually said she was a witch. This little 4-year-old girl was a witch because her answers they could not understand. The girl is 4.
Gosh, wow.
All she cares about is her baby doll and her mom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, they concluded her as a witch, but they never killed her. She actually was released.
Instead of like a dungeon-like prison for like 8 months.
They had to make shackles small enough for her wrist. They had to weld the shackles small enough for this little baby's wrist. Yeah. Both Sarah Good and Sarah Osborne said they were completely innocent. We did not do this.
Right.
We don't know what you're talking about. Like, leave us alone, pretty much. Tituba confessed. Yeah. And she said, "Yep. It was me. I did it." Her actual words were, "The devil came to me and bid me to serve him."
Yeah, she actually came out and said that it was the devil. And that's the origin of, like, the big ideas of
the origin is, she said she signed his book. The book is a big thing with all these people. She claimed that several other witches, up to 200 other witches in this area, including the 2 Sarahs that were just accused, were looking to destroy the Puritans of the world. Yeah. And then she also said within the book there was, oh my God, what was it? A black dog, yellow birds, red cats, and if you see these things, you're a witch.
Yeah, because they were known to be like they're not familiars, but they're
familiars.
Be connected with them.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Be working with them, for them. Right?
Paranoia then begins because now we have a woman who's saying, "Yes, sir, I did this, and the devil told me to, and there are 200 other witches in this community."
Right. So now it's like everybody and their dog.
Right. So shortly after this, like after this first trial, pretty much a group of little bitches, a group of little girls, pretty much, they're called the accusers. It's pretty much, I don't know if it was the Puritans' daughters or like it was big people in the community's children started having the same fits. Yeah. They were from ages 9 to 20 years old. You had Betty and Abigail from the beginning, and Anne.
And that was the minister's daughter, right? The two girls were
the minister's daughter, yes. Elizabeth Hubbard, Mary Walcott, Mercy Lewis, and Mary Warren. They were afflicted after encountering whoever they wanted to testify. Like, so they would just literally be like, she's a witch. She came near me and I felt bad. I had a fit. Like, seriously, these little girls were just like, you know what? Today you're a witch.
Have all that power. Just
they're
say,
just
they
little.
say it and
they're just little girls. Yeah. They're not. I mean, the oldest one was 20. So it's just, it's weird to think about that right now. Think about a group of like 10 girls getting together and pointing at a random stranger on the street and saying, "You're a witch."
Right.
What?
Like, why would we listen to... Now it's like a bunch of minors? Well, like we would just hear...
They listened to him because it was the Puritans' daughters. And the Puritans are big people in the town. And the ministers and the doctors and the big, huge... You know, the people who run the politics of the town. Yep. So that's why we listened to him. Martha Corey. She was a very, very, very loyal member of the church. She was accused of being a witch. So if Martha could be accused... anyone could be accused, because this woman was a church goer. Right. We love the Jesus. And she was accused and arrested and tried for being a witch. So if she could do it, nobody's admitted at this point. Off. Absolutely. Yeah. Anybody could do it. On May 27th, 1692, Governor Phipp joined a special court together to hear and decide who was the witch. So now we have a court. We have a court of people, a group of men.
It's actual it was all men. Actions.
And I'm pretty sure it was quite a few of men. It wasn't just one or two. It was like 15 to 20 men. And the first woman to be tried by this new court her name was Bridget Bishop. She was an older woman. She was known for gossiping and being promiscuous. That is why she was accused of being a witch. She was a gossip. She talked too much about other people. She was found guilty. And on June 10th, she was the first person ever to be hanged at what they call now Gallows Hill. Wow. The first one. First person, just because she gossiped and she liked sex. Like, I'm serious. Like, that's all it was. Wow. Which, I mean, back then, you couldn't be promiscuous. You couldn't. Right. If you didn't lay with your husband, you don't lay. You know.
You couldn't just step out of line at all.
Right. Yeah. A week after the first hanging... a minister named Cotton Mather, he wrote a letter asking the court to not use spectorial evidence against these people. Do you know what spectorial evidence is?
Just from what people, kind of like eyewitnesses? No.
It's when they claim that someone has appeared to them or something happened in their dream. I saw a dream.
So there's no physical evidence.
No physical evidence at all.
The opposite of what I was thinking.
Yes, exactly. It's all... Spectorial evidence is 100% what caused the Salem Witch Trials, essentially. Yeah. It's little girls saying, "Oh, he told me I was I was touched by her."
Supernatural hearsay.
Exactly. That was one of the biggest things they used to accuse people, was spectorial evidence. And then they do the trials and everything. We'll talk about them later. The court ignored this request. They completely did not even read the request to take spectorial. Because if you take spectorial evidence out, there's no evidence.
Right. There's nothing to say.
There's literally no evidence. So, in July, Reverend George Burroughs, Martha Carrier, George Jacob Sr., John Proctor, and John Willard were all hung at Gallows Hill right after this request was done, because they were all said to be witches. Wow. Every one of them.
And the men, if they weren't accused themselves, if they were supporting their wife in any way or speaking up for their wife.
They knew their wife was, and that was another thing too. Their wife would get accused, and they didn't bring her forward, so now they're accused. Yeah. Because they knew what was happening inside of their home.
Yeah, because I'd read there were six men total, so it wasn't all women.
Yeah, no, not at all. It was not all women at all. Martha Carrier, she was one of the women that was just hung. She had 4 children. They were also arrested and accused. Sarah was 8, Thomas was 10, Andrew was 15, and Richard was 18. The children were tortured almost to death into pleading guilty and testifying against their mother.
That's terrible.
So they tortured these babies. They tortured them. This court tortured them. until they pled guilty. That's pretty much what it was. It was like, you're a witch, admit it, or be tortured. Like,
yeah.
And if you're tortured, winning. You're going to admit it eventually because nobody wants to fucking die.
Right.
So, like,
you can't win either way.
Exactly. Yeah. There were 5 more deaths in August and then 8 more in September. In October, the president of Harvard denounced the use of spectral evidence. Okay, so he came forward and said, you need to no longer use spectral evidence. Stop it. If somebody says they saw something or somebody said, you can't use that anymore. Yeah. Absolutely no more. And since he was such a big person, they took that into account. But then old Governor Phipps, his wifey, the one who put the court together, his wife got accused.
Oh, now things change.
Exactly.
My, how the turns have tabled.
The turns have tabled?
It's like on the office.
Yeah. So, we've got a plea from a big guy. A big guy saying, stop. Yeah. This is enough. And now wifey's gone. So, they completely got rid of it. Mm-hmm. It's gone. No longer. He dissolved the court completely, and he replaced it with a superior court, which would not allow spectral evidence to be accepted at all. Mm-hmm. After that, only 3 people were condemned. Because we've already done all the murders. There's no more murders at this point. Only 3 people were called witches after that. Out of, I think it was like 250 that were accused. Okay. Only 3 of them were then accused and put in jail for being a witch.
Once the rules change and there's no way to just hearsay or...
Yeah. There's no way to... It's she said, he said bullshit. It's these little girls saying, she touched me and now I feel weird, so she's a witch.
Oh, my dog feels sick, or whatever, you know.
Like, I'm serious. They even accuse dogs. Dogs of being witches.
I've read that too.
Yeah, and I didn't quite understand if that was more like that was the witch's familiar, or if the dog itself was a witch. I couldn't really... So
well, there were 2 ways that they would take the dog. The dogs would either, one, be connected to the witch and like working with them, or 2, with the cake test. And then if they would put them down that way.
We'll do the cake. We'll talk about the cake test later. Yeah. The damage was done by then. 19 men and women had been hanged on Gallows Hill. Martha Carrier's husband, the one whose 4 children were completely tortured. Her husband was the one who was pressed to death with stones. Because he refused.
And he was the only one out of all those.
The only one. It was because he refused the trial. He's like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
And so they're like, okay, add another one, and then it crushed him to death. Jeez. Like, they just literally crushed him to death. And then 5 people died in jail.
Right. Just waiting. Just while waiting.
Right. 2 dogs were executed.
Yeah.
Just like the humans were. Because they were linked to the devil. They actually killed 2 dogs because of this. I'm not saying they didn't do more with dogs, but 2 were on record. Yeah. I actually found an archive of journal writings from like a Smithsonian library.
Yeah.
It's like photos of the actual notes that were taken back then. It's so cool. I saved the website because I wanted to go back and really read through it. 150 women. I read anywhere from 150 to 200. Women and men were imprisoned for witchcraft. Also children.
Yeah.
Children, women, and men. Anywhere from 150 to 200. Obviously, they weren't all guilty of being a witch, bunny quotes, but 100 or that many were at one point put in jail for the act of witchcraft. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Isn't that fucking insane?
You'd think had it been allowed to go on longer than a year, or wasn't even, it was just a year, right? Because it ended in 1693.
I don't think it was a full year, though. It was like February. Was it like February to November or something the next year? Oh, I guess that would be a little more than a year then.
I think it was middle of 1693 is when it ended. So right around a year.
Yeah.
But still, had it gone on any longer.
But how is it even, how could it even go on?
Right.
Like, isn't that fucking crazy?
It's just like things got out of hand for a little while and nobody looked. Like everybody just looked away and just let it happen until the governor's wife. You know, then things changed a little.
Yeah. The article I read, the governor's wife was a big thing, but they tried to make it seem more that it was about the president of Harvard. Was like, you need to stop. I bet the governor's wife had more to do with that versus somebody as big as a president. like saying, "Oh, buddy, chill out. Maybe we shouldn't do this."
Like maybe he brought it to his attention. Maybe he didn't even realize it was going on to that extent.
Oh, I bet. You know that whole fucking community town.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's not only the town of Salem, which it's not Salem, Massachusetts today.
Yeah.
That's a different Salem. It's called, oh my gosh, I should have wrote Danesville or Downiesville, Massachusetts now. But it wasn't just that town. It was surrounding towns,
Yeah, it was
too.
Several other towns.
Yes, it was like a whole county.
I think that's just where they held the trials.
Exactly.
But there were, surrounding
and that's where they
the
were
whole
hung.
area. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that first woman, that Bridget Bishop, she being promiscuous. Her being promiscuous, quote, was she drank and she gambled and she had parties. She had late parties. She had people over to the house. Like nothing, things that people do. But, back then that was, but she was the one I think they said she'd been married like 3 times and they think she had bewitched her husbands to death or whatever. So I guess that's why I understand not saying that one's okay no matter what, but I understand why she would be on trial if that were like the circumstances.
I don't understand why this happened at all.
How did it get that far? How did it get that bad?
How did it start from,
like, okay, maybe she killed her husband. Let's look into this. But that's what it should have been.
See, to me, it's almost like you said, some of those people had come over here and maybe they had told their stories because this was almost 60 years after the Europe ended.
Yeah.
So
I think a lot of
I'm going to tell the story to my great-grandkids or my grandchildren.
Kind of like a plague that spread.
Exactly. Yeah. And then once they're adults, they see things that they don't like. Mm-hmm. So they take it into their own hands and they think they can rule this community essentially. And we're going to burn hang the things we don't like.
Yeah. And it just snowballs and
Right. Yeah. Okay. So there were trials that you would be tested for to determine if you were a witch or not.
Yeah.
Okay. The trials. Do you want to do a couple trials? Because I feel like I'm just talking away.
Well, I did a little research, but I'm just going off what you got because you got a lot more stuff here.
Okay.
And you got a lot of stuff I didn't see, so excuse me. I know I read about the swimming test. I know everybody knows about that. Did you sink or float? And if you float, you're automatically guilty because they think that the water would reject the evil.
Right.
So if you were working with the devil, you're going to automatically float to the top.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but if they sank, then they often drown. So either way, they weren't going to win.
They had a rope tied around their ribs.
Oh, okay.
They did have I read that in several of them. Obviously, I wasn't there. And they would try to pull them up. But also, this is 1966. I don't know, remember at this point. And they don't know how to tie knots very well. So a lot of them would drown.
I did read that there were some that drowned. And I don't even know, were those considered in the deaths? I don't know if they were counted in there or not.
No. The people in the trials, I don't think were considered in the deaths.
They should have been.
But then also, I read one article that said pretty much this lady, she sank to the bottom, okay? They pulled her back up, and she was not breathing, so they resuscitated her, and because she came back to life,
then
they had to do the trial again because she's now a witch. A regular human would not come back to life.
Wow.
So then they had to do the whole thing over again, and she ultimately died.
And then I'd read that they'd move from one test to the next. So if you pass this one, you might move on to, say, the cake test.
Yeah, which is?
Well, I read that that's where the dogs come in, where if, you feed, I guess it's the bodily fluid, usually the urine of the victim or of the afflicted would be, they'd have the said witch bake it into a cake and feed it to the dog.
More than that. It was the urine of the accused.
Yeah.
With rye meal.
Yeah.
And ashes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They would mix it into a paste.
Okay.
Oh, I saw a whole article on how to make this shit.
Ew.
Yeah. And they would bake it into a cake, and then they would feed that to the dog.
Yeah, and then if the dog became ill or started showing signs of what the afflicted was showing.
Yes. Then she was a witch.
Right.
Yeah. So you're gonna feed a dog this.
Right.
And if it doesn't become ill, you're gonna what?
Where does that even become ill? Then they move on to another test. So where do they have a chance to even win?
Right.
It's not.
Right.
I don't know.
Okay, there was the touching test. The afflicted little bitches.
Yeah.
They would come into the court, to the room. They would come into the room. They would be having one of their contorted tantrums.
Yeah.
And if one of the accused witches would touch them and they stopped they're a witch.
Yeah. If they stopped, if they healed them, or if they felt ill or pain.
Yes.
So either way, if they reacted at all.
Literally did not matter.
None of these tests were even like...
I want to know who thought of these tests. Right? Like, it doesn't even make sense. Then there was the witch's mark.
Yeah.
A birthmark. It can be a birthmark, a mole, a scar, a birthmark, a sore, or a tattoo of any kind.
And who doesn't have something?
Or a mark of any kind. Apparently, they were supposed to be numb and no pain in this area.
Wow.
So then if they had one of those marks, then they would go on to the pricking test.
Okay.
The pricking test, like I said, they have no feeling, supposedly. They had a special needle they would take, and they would sit there and prick the mole, the birthmark, whatever, constantly. If they bled, they're a witch.
Oh, my gosh.
Why would you bleed? It's numb and there's nothing going on. But if it didn't bleed, which, what the fuck isn't going to bleed? I guess a deep enough scar wouldn't bleed. But, like, and then there was a scratching test also.
Wow.
We're not done. Apparently, they believe that possessed people found relief when they scratched themselves. Because if you think...
Because the demons be itchy.
Right, exactly. Because there's something inside of you trying to get out. There's something's responsible for making you do this. So they would literally take a human's arm and scratch it until they drew blood. And if the person calmed down in any way, they were a witch.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
Where did they fucking come up with these?
Wow.
Yeah.
I know there was another one I read too. I can't remember. Where they'd weigh them. They weigh them and see that if they weighed more than the Bible. And if, I guess because the witches were supposed to... Was it the witches were supposed to be weightless or something? That if you're a witch, you're lighter than a Bible or something like that. It's like, obviously they all failed that one.
Right? The incantation test. Oh, I popped my chest. That felt good. I heard that. That is when they would literally just scream at them and say, "Devil, come out!" And if they became normal after that, they were a witch.
Wow. So it's kind of trying to do an exorcism.
Literally. But apparently there was another witch trials. It was one of the ones in Europe that happened that worked.
Wow.
So that's why they took that one. There was also the prayer test. That's the last one I have written down. If you could recite the Lord's Prayer for word, not stumble, not stutter, not make one mistake, there's no way you could be a witch. So, excuse me. How, like, a normal human's gonna stutter or stumble.
Right.
You've just done 7 tests that almost killed you.
Yeah.
And now you want me to recite the Lord's Prayer, which I'm sure most of them knew back then. Because we all did the Bible back then.
Yeah.
So, like, literally, one stutter, one stumble, they are now a witch.
I can see, like, okay, none of this makes sense, but obviously. But if you're that religious and you think that they should know the prayer, okay. But someone who's truly evil or truly working with Satan is not going to be able to say those words anyway. Like, if you believe that stuff keeps evil away, they're not going to be able to say them at all. But one little stumble, one little stutter.
You're now a witch and you're going to prison.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
It's all so crazy.
It's all fucking insane. Excuse me. Do you have any more on the trials?
Other than like the kids, they really think a lot of that, like the illness and the weird, like they think a lot of that was just contaminated water.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't.
I read that too. They thought that they were actually getting sick from water.
I'm not saying one or two of them, especially like in the beginning, like the one who confessed to working. Maybe she was working with darker powers. Who knows what she was doing? She came from another area. Like her culture was different.
It was Tabuda or Tabuhu. Hold on. Hold on. Let me flip through because I want to find her name. Tituba.
Yeah, and she very well could have been. Who knows?
She was a Caribbean woman.
Yeah, like, and so you're coming in these crazy ass Puritans. Like maybe I'm not saying she wasn't, but if she's not hurting anyone, there's no reason to. Now I don't know what these girls said. Who knows? But like, okay, take this one person, but then she kind of started it too, though, like saying all these women are to blame. And
well, technically the little girl started it because they were like, this woman, this one, it was Tibita, Sarah, and Sarah did this to us.
Yeah.
Which I want to know what made them think those 3 did it. Were they in the same area as them?
Right.
Well, I know that Tibita was the sister's, like her nanny essentially for a while.
So maybe she was there. Maybe they were doing something.
She was that family's I don't want to say slave, but slave.
Yeah.
Like, she, like, literally.
Yeah, they said she was enslaved to help the family.
Yes, exactly. So.
But yeah, I'm not saying they were all completely, like, innocent of not practicing witchcraft. I mean, I practice witchcraft, but I'm never trying to hurt anyone. So my eyes will not stop watering, probably because I'm talking about.
She's talking about witchcraft, so her eyes water.
I don't know. It's crazy now to think that, like, the things we do that are so normal.
Right.
Like, just gardening and just, like, using oils. Or...
I have the symptoms of being accused. The symptoms of what you could, like, I've got a great list of them. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Being sarcastic.
Oh, God.
If you have bad hearing.
Oh, shit.
Slamming a church door. Being too strong. Having anything in or around your home that can be could be considered as spell, like to use in a spell.
Wow. You could literally use anything.
Including herbs, flowers, medication, or rocks.
What?
You got a rock outside your house, you're going to prison.
Wow.
I'm serious. Like, these are actual reasons why people were in prison for witchcraft. Getting into an argument with somebody, and then something bad happens to that person, like, the next day. Mm-hmm. The story I read was 2 neighbors got into an argument, and the next day one of the neighbors' cow got out. So that family, the entire family, it was obviously a husband, witchcraft. A wife, and 2 children were all arrested for witchcraft. I'm serious.
Wow.
Like, yeah. Weather. Anyway. Being seen with a man in dark clothing that is not your husband.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because that man was the devil.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Being seen with a lone animal.
Just one animal.
One animal. In trouble. So if you are walking down the street and a dog comes up next to you or a cat does, you're a fucking witch.
Wow.
Yeah, you will be accused and imprisoned. Being in a group of 2 or more women with no male present.
That's so crazy.
Being a healer of any kind. Going outside after dark, if you are a woman. And dancing.
That's all so extreme.
Like, that is what people would be. Now, after the Salem Witch Trials, people were still getting imprisoned for witchcraft, but there was just no more hangings and stuff. Gosh. And then I think it slowly tapered off, and then it was no longer a fucking thing.
But I don't think it was until, like, a couple hundred years later that they actually, like... the government, like, actually apologized. Or the state of Massachusetts or whatever actually came out and
apologized.
It's like it was just ignored or avoided. Like it didn't even happen.
I think it's just because it was so fucking mind-blowingly weird.
Flabbergasted.
Like, why the fuck did this even happen?
Yeah.
Like, what?
It is, like, there's all kinds of weird stuff in history, but this one takes the cake.
Like it takes the witch cake. Yeah. Don't eat that. But, like, it doesn't make fucking sense. Even the, like, witch trials of Europe, I did not look into any of them. I know little bits just from movies and shit.
Yeah, but...
But, like, why the fuck did those start? Same thing.
Yeah.
It's... People don't understand how much religion rules.
Yes. Absolutely.
And that is terrifying because it can get out of hand, like, stuff like this.
Yeah. And nowadays, most of your good... true Christians, the ones who are really religious, are going to try to do the best thing. Yeah, they can be judgmental. Yeah, they might look at someone and think, oh, that's not holy.
Essentially,
but they're not gonna.
They are judgmental, and they say things, and they do things they shouldn't do. And then the person who they just accused has mental health issues, and they ultimately hurt themselves.
Yeah.
Or they ultimately, no longer breathing themselves. Because these people are...
Yeah.
I mean, you can go
so
into
pushy.
It's still
it may be a little less, like, physically and, like,
we're not
what do
necessarily
like
hanging
obvious
people anymore, but we still pretty much rule because it's bad. Anyway, got anything else over there?
I think I covered everything I wrote down. Like, it just overall, like, I don't know. I know people still think that witchcraft. Yeah, people don't understand witchcraft. If you're working with herbs and things like that, that doesn't make you a bad person. I think
people are scared of it, and they know certain people do it.
Yeah.
So this could have been fear too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like what it could turn into, or you know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's fucking weird. This is the weirdest thing I would say that ever happened in the history of America. Like, we've had other stuff.
Maybe like isolated incidences that were really weird, but this like went on for a whole year, and it's like...
And people were murdered for no fucking... Because we stepped outside. And children were tortured. And husbands and wives were tortured.
And I know things a few 100 years ago were completely different than they are now. Because even back in like the 1940s, 1950s, women were not allowed to behave the way they behave now. But
right. Still, and this is 1692. So we're way back there.
Yeah. It's just hard to compare to what we have now to like... I know plenty of Christian women who grow flowers and herbs and, you know...
Dude, you know the real witches up there in that Salem village? They was perfect. They was the best, nicest, sweetest ladies ever. They were on cue. They're not the ones that got killed.
Right.
Because you know they there.
Oh my gosh. It's just crazy. It is.
I don't like it, but...
I know. I guess in my mind I always, like, had the European witch trials... like kind of together in my head with this because I knew the burning at the stake was different, but at the same time it all seemed this. I guess it kind of is the same idea though, it's just different locations. But
they had actual witch hunters in Europe. They had men, big burly motherfucking men, like the Hulk people, Thor, running through the woods searching for witches. Like I do know that was a big witch hunters were real, very very real. And I want to say, honestly, they were real up until like 100 years ago. Like it's not like this is a far long time ago thing. For a different country. Come back. Hey,
I just got to thinking like maybe there's
you just disassociated like into the abyss. Like you truly your eyes were...
Well, I was still thinking about it, but I think I went away for a little while.
Okay. Did you go to the Salem Witch Trials? How was it?
Well, honestly, I was thinking about The Witcher, the show and the game.
I've never seen it.
It's good. But
that's some crispy.
That was my notebook closing. It was very strange.
Made my spine tingle. I didn't like it.
It was very weird.
Anyway, The Witcher.
Yeah, The Witcher. It's really good though. It's different, but he like hunts monsters and stuff. But like,
so is he like a witch hunter?
Kind of, but
monsters.
He works with the mages and stuff. He hunts more like monsters, creatures, or whatever. But kind of like he just hunts. Well, I don't know if you want to play the game or watch the show, but either way. I was just thinking about witch hunters and like maybe there probably are still people out there who think it's so bad that they take it upon themselves to just, who knows? I don't know. I'm watching
rewatching Criminal Minds right now because the new season came out and I just felt like I needed to freshen up on the Criminal Minds because I haven't seen it in like 10 years. So watching it, and there was just an episode, I think it's like season 3 or 4, I don't really know exactly where I am. I watch a lot, it's in the background, I don't sit and watch it, it's just background noise at this point. But there was a person who was going around killing what they believed were witches because their daddy beat them to witches are bad.
They had their own
the
problem,
devil. Yeah. So I mean,
you got your nut here and there, I guess.
Right.
It would just...
I wonder is this truly just an isolated incident, or did this happen more often than not recorded? Because this is the 1600s.
Yeah, because things were wild back then.
Exactly.
Like, who's to think it didn't happen other places?
The only reason that we know is because the courts had to document everything. Yeah. So we have the actual documentations of the courts from that. Who's to say a couple towns over we didn't document? Yeah. Who's to say 2 states over we didn't document this stuff? Yeah. And we did burn them or hang them or whatever.
In less organized areas with less political involvement.
And then you have to think about the people who truly fucking believed that these women and men and children were witches. Yeah. Taking shit into their own hands.
Yeah. True.
Because one day this hysteria did not just end. Right. It was not like the next day everything's happy and everyone's released and everyone's not a witch. Right. Like, how do you think that community reacted?
Yeah, like, there's just go back to all happy people.
Exactly. That's not your neighbor anymore. She was an accused witch last month. Right. So, like, fuck her. Let's mess her life up. You know what I mean? Like, it's not...
Makes me think about this lady a few years ago. I didn't even know her. She, I got to talking to her, and it was a friend of a friend, and she was an older lady, and she just tells me, she, wasn't being rude to me. It wasn't like she was trying to, tell me I was going to hell or something, but I could tell she was religious, and she said something about, well, they're going to come after the witches again. And I'm like, what? what? She's like, there's gonna be witch hunts again. I'm just telling you. And I'm like, thanks for the warning, buddy. I'm like, what was that about? You don't even know me. Like, I think we were talking about flowers or something. And I'm like, what in the world? Like, what makes someone say that? Like, so maybe there are people out there who believed it and thought that it was for,
I guarantee
I know a lot of people who are very religious are very against witchcraft, but they also don't understand witchcraft.
Exactly.
And, like, the good witchcraft.
But it's all about love and light and energy, and it has nothing to do with
there are dark ones, you know, like we talked about before, you know, there are dark people doing all kinds of stuff, but not, you know, witchcraft isn't the only thing that can be dark, so I don't know.
Religion can be dark too. Yeah. Religion technically is darker than witchcraft if you really want to think about it. Think of all the millions of people.
Any religion can be any religion and practice witchcraft. So if you have a really like dark heart and you really just fucking hate people, it doesn't matter.
Which serial killer? What serial killer was it that literally was baptized before he was executed?
Oh
my God, was it Dahmer? I think it was Dahmer.
It might have been.
And
it was one of the bigger ones.
And he truly believed that he was going to heaven now because he was baptized. Yeah. Like, are you fucking serious? Because he was a Christian.
So many believe that, you know, if I repent, if I ask for forgiveness and I'm okay with the Lord, that no matter what I do, I'm going to heaven.
I don't understand it. Mm. And that's okay.
But you better not grow flowers or...
No, take all the rocks outside of your home. Don't be sarcastic. If you have bad hearing, please get hearing aids because you might be considered a witch. Never slam that fucking church door.
That sun starts setting, you better get your ass inside.
If you are stronger than normal, pretend like you're not. Just like go weak, just go limp anytime somebody comes around. Never get into an argument with your neighbor because their cow might go missing. What else? Don't never speak to a man with dark clothes if you're a lone woman, okay?
It's funny because, like, don't most pastors and preachers and whatnot wear black?
Yeah. But no, don't talk to him because you're a freaking witch. Don't go on a walk with your dog alone because you're a witch.
Make sure you're 2 or 3 dogs.
Never be in a group of more than 2 women. If there's 3 besties, nope, one's got to stay home because you might be a witch.
No potty partners, okay?
Exactly. Don't try to heal anybody. Never give anybody advice. If you take an ibuprofen, nope, I'm now a healer. None of that. Don't go outside at night. Like, listen, the sun's going to set here in an hour. I need to go because I'll be outside at night.
Right.
The dogs, don't be a dog outside the door listening to our podcast. Don't dance or you will be a witch. Yeah. Just don't do it.
God.
Otherwise, just sit in your home and do your laundry. But don't use soap because the fragrance of the soap could attract one of those little girls to come over to say you're a witch.
What a miserable time.
Oh, that's so bad. And all the people who lost their lives for absolutely no fucking reason.
All right.
Literally no reason.
They just got stuck in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Like, actually, pretty much they were probably just... I don't know. Mm-hmm. I really don't. Just living their fucking lives. Mm-hmm. And these little girls were like, you're a witch. And now we're dead. Like, we're dead. I know that Tabitha, I think that was her name, she was never executed.
What?
No,
really?
She was not one of the ones that were executed.
That's right, because that other lady was the first one actually executed. So the one who was actually probably guilty and actually said...
Did not get executed.
She actually said she was doing it.
She actually got released years later. Like, she was not executed. I think only one of the 3 originals were executed.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was the one whose daughter was 4 years old.
Oh my
The mom got executed. That's the only one. The other ones did not get executed.
And she actually confessed. So it's almost like they were too scared of it.
She said it was me and it was the book. And I signed my name in his book. And she was in prison for a long time, I think. But she, I think, just got really old and they let her go.
Unreal.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
It makes no sense. Yeah. It was just a power thing. I mean, really, it comes down to power.
Politics and religion. Like you said at the beginning, that's literally all it was.
Yeah.
Okay, so you ready to wrap her up?
Yeah.
Like a big witch ball?
Yeah.
Not a witch cake, though, because those are gross.
Oh,
if you need to contact us for any rhyme or reason, you can do so at onlyifyoucankeepup@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Don't be a witch.
Stay classy.
Actually, do be a witch.
Do all the witchy things.
Right? Okay, bye.